Hi everybody, it's Marie here from Cutfiles. I'm here today with a video to explain to you how to use the various different formats of cut files in the different pieces of software. So this particular video is going to focus on Cricut Design Space, and I'm going to do a separate video on how to use Silhouette Design Studio. I have a Cricut, so I use the Cricut Design Space to cut my images out, but I do use the Silhouette Design Studio for my designing and things like that. So I will explain to you how to use both. This particular video is focusing on the Cricut software, and if you are interested in this Silhouette, please have a look in the description box below, because that's where you'll find a link to the video about how to use the Silhouette Design Studio. Now, I must just quickly say before we start, this video will class as an advertisement under UK advertising law, so let's get that out of the way before we get going. So what I've done already is I've opened up Cricut Design Space and I've just got a new canvas. So here's my new canvas. It's completely blank and I want to upload a new file. So I'm going to go over here to this left hand panel and see where this says here. It says upload. I'm just going to click there. And then it shows me what my recently uploaded images are. They're just there to kind of hide away any cut files that you might see sneaky peeks of that are coming up in the next couple of months, because I've been uploading them into my software to test them out. So in order to put a new image in, all I need to do is go to here, this button that says upload image, and click on that. And then it gives me this huge screen where I can drag and drop a file, or I can browse. Now I've got mine on my desktop over here ready that I can just literally drag and drop them in. But if you need to browse because yours have gone into your downloads folder or wherever they might have gone on your computer, just click on browse and it brings you up, I'm working on a Mac, so it brings me up a menu of where I can find my different things from, and I know that mine are hidden on here because this is my desktop folder. So all I would need to do is click on the one I wanted and then click open and it would appear, or I can go this way and just literally grab it from my desktop and plop it on. Can you see how the screen goes green if I just let go of it now, and then takes it a second and then it appears. Now I have found through many hours of trying that the best format to use in Cricut Design Space is an SVG. I am going to show you how to use a JPEG as well, which is the same as a PNG, but I find I get better results using an SVG personally. It's just what I prefer to use. You'll see here that it's already got the name of the file. It kind of takes it from the file name, so you don't have to rename it unless you really want to. You can also tag it. Again, I don't bother with that. And the image is here. Don't worry that it's only looking like it's on part of the screen. That doesn't make a difference to how the file looks in the end. So all you need to do from this screen is check that you've got the right file and then click save. And it's done, it's uploaded, it's in Design Space. Now all you need to do, if you want to put this onto your canvas, is click on the design that you want to place in. As I click on that, it gets a green line around the edge, and a small version of it also ends up here. And we get this little tiny image. So if you want to get rid of it, you've changed your mind, you don't want that one, you can just click the X and it will disappear. But I do actually want that one. You can click multiple things and they'll all appear down here ready to go. So you can put more than one thing in at once. But I'm just going to use this Rainbow Days for now. And then I'm going to click on Insert. And then what it'll do is it'll pop it in onto the canvas. Now it does, from an SVG, it's really small. I don't know why, but it just pops in really small, but that doesn't affect the quality. You just need to grab this bottom corner and make it as big or as small as you want it to be. And there's my file. If I was happy with that and I just want to cut it out, all I would need to do is head over to this top right and click Make It. And then we'd end up in this screen where it shows you it again on the mat. You can move it around and position it if you wish. You don't have to cut it there. You might want to cut it exactly in the middle. You might want to cut it right up at the top to save as much of this space down at the bottom. Entirely up to you. You can tell it how many copies you want and how big your material is as well. I'm not going to go into all the ins and outs of the software. This is basically just how to get this file in and cut it. So then the next thing you do is click continue and it takes you to this screen, and it's on this screen where you would click cut. Now my machine isn't switched on at the moment, so it's not bringing the menu up, and if I turn it on it'd be really noisy, so I'm not going to do that. But you just basically get choices here as to which blade you've got in, what kind of paper cardstock you've chosen from the dial on the machine, and then you would get an option here to cut or to start, and you just click it and off it goes, and that's all done, nice and simple. I'm just going to cancel this cut to go back because right now I don't want to cut it, and I'm just going to cancel this as well, and then that takes us back to this screen. Now, if you wanted to get rid of any of these contour lines, say there are parts of this that you just don't want on the screen. So for example, you don't want to cut out the middle of these letters, you would rather they were solid, or you would rather the hearts were solid, for example. Really, really simple to do. Click on the file itself so that there is a blue line around the edge, and then go down to this bottom right corner where it says contour. Click on contour, and it brings up all, this one comes up absolutely enormous, but if you zoom out you can see it all, and it shows you all the different lines it's going to cut, and you can select or deselect any of those. At the moment they're all selected. You can hide them all and just cut out an outline. So basically what that would do, I'll just show you on the screen, it would literally cut out the outside of the shape. Now that's not quite right for this particular shape, because for this cut file, because you have spaces that aren't meant to be there, such as this one here, this one, the middle of the Y and the S, and possibly the D and the A as well, and the middle of that rainbow. So if I now go back, I've clicked on those, so if you look down this side, the ones that are going to be cut out are white, the ones that are going to be ignored are grey. So you can scroll down and see that some of these shapes are still going to be cut out. And if I go back to the main screen, you'll see it's going to cut out this bit and this and all round days. So you'll get one big piece that you can put behind. So you might want to use this if you're going to cut the cut file out as it was on white, and then cut it out again in, say, a patterned paper, so that you can stick that directly behind the white, and it's kind of all backed for you without you having to do any fussy cutting round or anything. If you wanted all of it from the same cardstock, that's one way of doing it. The other thing that you can do is to click, so that let's click them all back in so that we can see all the different parts of the cut file again. What you might then want to do is, let me just click them through. Oh, there's lots of them. And then, oh no, I think that's got them all. And we're back to how we were before. What you might want to do is cut each of these sections out in a different colour. Now, it won't be big enough for you to put behind. It'll be big enough though for you to put inside the cut file if you're laying it flat on a piece of paper. So for example, say you wanted this arch of the rainbow here in red, you'd go to contour, you'd hide all contours, but you'd click this one back in. You'd want this one here back in. So can you see here it's still going to show all contours. We want to turn off the outside, want to hide them all, keep that one, get rid of that one. There we go. So you can have just that one selected. It will then cut out that one. That will fit exactly inside the rainbow, and you can cut that one out in red. You could then go back to the contour page, click the next one down, get rid of that one. So then you could cut the next one out in a different colour, and you could keep going down the rainbow. It won't let you deselect everything. There has to be at least one thing clicked. So you can, like I say, if you click on hide all contours, you get the outside one. So if it's just this one that you want, say just one of these arches, click hide all contours like I did, click hide all, that one will remain selected, click the one that you want and then deselect the outside, and you end up being left with the one piece that you want. So you can quite easily play around with which bits are going to be cut out, which bits are going to be solid, which bits aren't. So like I say, you can go into the contour and you could click out all the insides of the different letters so that they remain solid, and hopefully you can see on the screen there them appearing as now solid shapes so that they won't be cut out. You might want to do it for this particular cut file where you want the hearts to be solid, so you need to click on the different parts of the hearts so that they don't. So you'll need that one and that one as well, so that when we go to the screen, the hearts are solid, but the W will still be cut out of that heart, so you can still read it. So those hearts will appear in the same colour cardstock you cut it from. So hopefully that's been useful and you understand how to get an SVG file in. I'm just going to get rid of that for now because I need to show you now how to upload a JPEG. Now we go back to the same screen, we click on upload, and again we click on upload image. But this time, instead of pulling in a JPEG, pulling it in as an SVG, I'm going to pull in a JPEG. It looks exactly the same, and I can drop it into that box. The box goes green, I let go of it, but we go to this screen this time rather than going straight through to the kind of labeling screen and the naming screen. You get an image on the left hand side here, and then you get these options. You have to decide whether it's a simple, moderately complex or complex image. Now if you're just working with a cut file and it's black on white just like this one, it is simple, high contrast colours, transparent or monochrome background. So we want to click on that one. It will turn the image grey, and then we need to click continue down at the bottom right. You then go into this screen again. The file appears quite large and we need to zoom out, and you can see all the image. You can see it as a white with the black again. Now that's not how we want it, because if I go ahead and move forward with this, what will happen is that I will end up with one big grey screen, because it won't you've not identified the bits that you want to cut. So let me just show you what happens. If I click my cursor, which is now a little cross, on this white, it turns to this purpley white checkered pattern, and that shows that it's going to cut this line out, and this bit here is not part of the file, and this bit is. So any bits that I want to cut, I click on them. So basically, if it's gone in as black and white, you want to be clicking on all the white parts, and we click out all of them. It can take quite a while if it's a complicated file with tiny little pieces. This one's not too bad. And there we go. Now I just need to get the centre of that A, so I'm going to have to zoom in to try and click the middle of that A. Yep, got it, it's gone purple. Now if I accidentally clicked on this, for example, and that happened, don't worry, you haven't lost the whole thing. All you need to do is click undo, and it will come back again if you ever click on any wrong sections that you really did want and you clicked on them by accident. Again, just click continue. You can also click preview to see what it would look like. See, it will show you which bits you've gotten rid of. Doesn't change a great deal. So you click on continue, and then we go to this screen, another choice to be made. If you get to this screen and realise you've left a bit in and you've missed it and you've not taken it out and you should have done, you can always go back by clicking this button here. You need to choose whether you're going to have it as a save as a print then cut, or whether you're going to save it as a cut. Now cut files we do normally save just as cut images, so I need to click on that one so that the green box is surrounding that image. It's named over here already. I can tag it if I want. Like I said, I don't usually bother, and then click save in the bottom right. And again, exactly the same thing happens here. It goes into my recently uploaded. I can click on it, it appears here. I can insert the image and it appears on the screen. Now JPEGs for some reason, and PNGs for that matter, usually end up appearing in the software really, really large, so you just need to make it smaller. I tend to zoom out using these buttons down here so that I can see the whole thing, make it smaller, and then zoom back in. I can get hold of it by just clicking on it, moving it around, and then making it smaller again so that I know it's going to fit on my cut mat. And exactly the same, you have got another image. Now Cricut Design Space does something really strange with JPEGs and PNGs. I'm not sure I understand why. It is the reason why I use SVGs rather than PNGs and JPEGs, and it's because of what you can see here. Now if I just zoom in, you might be able to see it just around about here. We've got a little bobble on the side of the heart there, and some of the images come out a little bit jaggedy on the edges. This one doesn't appear too bad at the moment, but it can happen, and I have had it that my machine has actually cut it with those jaggedy edges still intact, and we obviously don't want that. You want nice smooth edges on your cut files. So to avoid any of this bobbliness within Design Space, because it isn't anything to do with the cut file, I've tried my own, I've tried cut files from various different companies, and I've found the same thing. You might not, and if you don't, then that's great, but I find I get these little jaggedy edges sometimes that I then can't get rid of, which is a real shame. They're more pronounced when I zoom out, and when I zoom back in, the edges do seem okay, but you can see little strange bits on them, like this bit down here. So yeah, I tend to just use SVGs. If you do, however, or you've only got access to a JPEG, for example, then that's the way to get it in. And in exactly the same way that we did with the SVG, you can play with the contour lines in exactly the same way. So you can still manipulate the cut file to work best for you. And then you would make it in exactly the same way. So that's about it for explaining how to get the images into Design Space. Like I say, if you want to know how to do it in Silhouette Design Studio, it is a little bit different, and the video for that will be linked down below. I hope that's been useful for you. If you have any questions about that, please leave them down below in the comments, or feel free to send me a message over in the Facebook group about using the images again. But again, hope this has been useful, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.